cherish the memories. Let's dance, let's dance. Come take my hand. Let's dance, let's dance. Come take my hand. Place your hand on your heart. Hear it beating, that's the sound of our love. Look up, here I am, flying high above, painting the sky for you. Can't you see my name? It's written in the stars. Your guiding light beams wherever you are. So we dance, we sing, we'll enjoy tonight and the loving company. So we dance, we sing, we'll enjoy tonight and cherish the memories. Let's dance, let's dance. Come take my hand. Let's dance, let's dance. Come take my hand. Let's dance, let's dance. Come take my hand. Let's dance, let's dance. Come take my
上を向いて歩こう涙がこぼれないように思い出す春の日一人ぼっちの夜上を向いて歩こう滲んだ星を数えて思い出す夏の日一人ぼっちの夜幸せは雲の上に幸せは空の上に上を向いて歩こう涙がこぼれないように泣きながら歩く一人ぼっちの夜思い出す秋の日一人ぼっちの夜悲しみは星の影に悲しみは月の影に上を向いて歩こう涙がこぼれないように泣きながら歩く一人ぼっちの夜一人ぼっち
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sudo for Solidarity's 2025 Voices in Solidarity virtual fundraiser and community celebration. I'm Bryn Saito,
And I'm Brandon Shimoda.
and we are both Yonsei poets, educators, and descendants of people who were incarcerated during World War II. And we're deeply grateful to be your hosts for tonight's annual fundraiser and awards.
It's such an honor to be hosting with you, Bryn. Bryn and I spent the last 4 years editing an anthology of poetry written by descendants of people who were incarcerated in the World War II prisons and concentration camps in the US and Canada. The anthology is called The Gate of Memory, Poems by Descendants of Nikkei Wartime Incarceration. The process of making it with Bryn was so joyous and revelatory for me. It brought us into community with so many incredible people and illuminated the nature and necessity of that community. Plus, Bryn is one of my favorite poets. Her work has helped me to understand my own experience. So thank you for that, Bryn, and thank you for sharing this space with me.
Thank you so much, Brandon. I second all of that. The process of collaboration was truly joyous and reparative for me, even as we were steeped in poetry born from trauma. Before we met, Brandon's writing about the incarceration helped me and possibly many of you on this call make sense of the immensity of what I had inherited. So it's very meaningful to be in this space together, hosting an event that celebrates the many ways we can be together in solidarity.
Suru for Solidarity exists for us and probably for many of you as a North Star. They help us navigate what often, or rather always, feels like an unending state of exception and emergency. Their work combating state violence and their work supporting the communities, especially immigrant and refugee communities, who are the targets of that violence, is always clear and uncompromising and always inspiring. So we are especially grateful to be representing them tonight. Before we proceed, we want to encourage everyone to click on speaker view or the side-by-side view on the upper right portion of your Zoom screen. Maybe we can all do that together. Let's see. Also, well, this will enable us to view spotlighted speakers alongside the videos and slides. Also, we have a digital security team led by Becca that will be keeping us all safe in this virtual space. Very important. They might ask for you to rename yourself or come off camera to confirm your identity. Now, let's acknowledge Sewer for Solidarity's incredible staff.
Our deepest gratitude to the Sudu staff. Your passion for justice is seen and genuinely appreciated. The staff has continued to coordinate volunteers to meet the needs of those most vulnerable in our communities. We uplift them with heartfelt gratitude and our deepest humble bow. And we'd like to begin tonight's program in right purpose and right relations. In this spirit, we welcome Betsy Hasagawa, who is Ainu and a Sudu for Solidarity volunteer and educator, Leslie Ishii, a Sudu founding volunteer, and Keiko Kubo, co-chair of our detention campaign and healing arts mastermind to offer the land acknowledgements.
Thank you. Kamishish. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Good afternoon or evening, wherever you are located. We are honored to offer this land and First Peoples acknowledgement. I am Leslie Ishii Yonsei, a descendant of the Ishii family relocated to Wyoming, the Sakamoto and Nishitani families who are survivors and non-survivors of Puyallup Fairground horse stalls and Minidoka U.S. concentration camp. I'm honored to be here and celebrating Suda for Solidarity. I'm zooming in from the sacred homelands of the Akwán on Anahia, Andaganye, and Zantikihini, Khrinket Ani, colonially known as Juneau, Alaska. Oh, Betsy, can you put your mic on? There.
Okay, thank you. I was like, okay. All right, let me get back on track here. Okay, so in Ankarape, I'm Betsy Hasagawa, and I'm Sansei, a descendant of survivors of Santa Fe, Santa Anita Racetrack, Jerome, Arkansas, and Amachi, Colorado on my mother, Anna Sakaizawa's Ainu indigenous Japanese side of the family, and Heart Mountain, Tule Lake, Snow Country, Bismarck, North Dakota, and renunciants to Japan, and 100 Battalion and 442nd on my father, Harry Hasagawa's side. I'm honored to be here today, and I'm zooming in from the sacred homelands of the Lummi Lakhtamish people and Nooksack people, colonially known as Bellingham, Washington, USA. Iaidekre, thank you.
Hi, I'm Keiko Kubo, and am I not in?
We can hear you, Keiko. Beautiful.
Okay. I just lost my script, but I'll get some help with that. Thank you, Justin. Hi, I'm Keiko Kubo, and am I still muted? Okay.
You're on. We can
You're
hear
good.
you.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. And I'm Sansei, a descendant of Topaz and Tanfran on my mother, Mieko Yanagi's side. And my father's family, George Kubo's family, was separated. So he and his sister were in Santa Anita and Poston 2. And the rest of his family were in Crystal City, in Lordsburg, in also Bismarck. And I'm zooming in from the unceded Ohlone territory in the Confederate of the Lujan. And I'm very honored to be here. We'd also like to suggest for folks that are online to please think about putting a land acknowledgement of where you're zooming in from in the chat.
Thank you. We want to recognize many locations on Turtle Island where Suda for Solidarity conducts its actions and acknowledge our work on the sacred homelands, the unceded territory of the Carrizo, Comem Crudo, and Lipan Apache of Dilley, Texas, the location of the Dilley Family Residential Center, and the Kiowa Comanche Apache of Lawson, Oklahoma, the location of the Fort Sill intake site.
The Tiwa, Hiro, Tomapachua of El Paso, Texas, the location of Fort Bliss, where there was an intake site. The Lenni Lenape of Leesport, Pennsylvania, the location of the Burks Family Residential Center. The Chadao, Sissipaha, and the Okanichi, Greensboro, North Carolina, the location of the Greensboro Piedmont Academy. The Aina, oh my gosh, I lost my script, I'm sorry. The Aina of the Kanaka Miaoli of Lahaina, Hawaii, devastated by wildfires, the location to support the Maui Medic Healers, Hui.
And currently, the Duwamish, Coast Salish, Puyallup, Suquamish, Steelcombe, and Nisqually in Washington, the location of the Northwest Detention Center, the Confederate Tribes of the Grand Ronde in Portland, Oregon,
and the Ohlone and Ramaytush of Dublin, California, the location of the Federal Correctional Institute cited for conversion into an immigrant detention center, and the Miwok and Nishinan of Sacramento, California, the state capital, where the Japanese American community have ongoing passionate advocacy on behalf of our beloved Lamne.
Yes, so these were all sites where Sudo conducts its actions. We also acknowledge that these original peoples have been caretakers of these lands since time immemorial, and we are grateful for that stewardship and incredible care. Suda for Solidarity continues to commit and advocate for community care and caretaking of the land, air, and sea.
We recognize a series of unjust actions that attempted to remove Native, Indigenous, from their land, and we recognize that the U.S. concentration camp system was built on the Indian reservation system. Suda for Solidarity continues to advocate for the sovereignty of all Native Indigenous now and into the future.
We are forever grateful to Native and Indigenous peoples for our ever-growing relations and collaborations with their leaders, elders, culture bearers, language keepers, and organizations that bless us to continue our work in service of our abolishing of the immigrant detention system that imprisons children, separates families, and wrecks our communities. We work to be in right relations and in right purpose toward our collective liberation for a true transformation in a more just society.
Gunachish, ha'a.
Kiano, Kianak, Wado.
Mahalo anui iairekere.
Thank you, everyone. We'd like to take a moment before we move to our grounding, and I'd like to invite Mike Ishii to come on as we have an update. I know you want to address, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. We just want to very much acknowledge that the purpose of our mission is in part to interrupt the repetition of history of state violence targeting communities across this country, Indigenous, as well as communities of color and immigrant communities. One of our communities is this evening and has been for the last period under the attack from the state. We're receiving news from Little Tokyo in Los Angeles that there was a lockdown this evening and that some of the residents of Little Tokyo have been abducted, some immigrants. And so it's important that we hold space here together. I know there are family members and friends, community members from Los Angeles and the greater Southern California area that are present here in the space tonight. I want to welcome you to speak in this moment if you would like, and also we can collectively hold space together for everyone in the community that is impacted in this moment. So I'm going to pause here. If anyone from LA or the surrounding area would like to speak in this moment, please take the space. Otherwise, we can hold space together. Perhaps we can take a deep breath together. Breathe in the key of heaven. Connect with our ancestors and the light of our ancestors, the protective key of our ancestors, collected here in the luminous center, and breathe in deeply together. And collectively, we can send our key to our neighbors, our friends, our family members, our community this evening in Little Tokyo and everywhere across this country right now who are impacted, who are being targeted by state violence. And let's take one more breath together and collectively send out our key to everyone. We can continue to hold this space tonight together. Thank you. And I'll send it back to you now, Leslie.
Thank you, Mike. That's Mike Ishii, co-founder of Suda for Solidarity with Satsuki Ina, and also currently serves as our executive director. Thank you, Mike. Now I'd like to transition and further ground ourselves and invite Sumiko Wong, one of our colleagues who is a wonderful leader with the Healing Justice campaign in circles.
Good evening, everyone online and in person and at the watch parties. I'd like to take us through another grounding that I wrote up for this evening. I call it an invocation of ancestry and legacy. So let us arrive together, feet on the ground, bodies at ease, and hearts open. And if it feels comfortable for you, I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And take a slow, deep breath in and release gently. Again, breathe in, filling your lungs with steadiness. And exhale, letting go of the day. And one last time. Inhale and exhale. And now I invite you to bring your attention to your body. Notice where you carry tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your chest. And with each breath, invite those places to soften. Feel the weight of your body being held by the chair you're sitting in, by the ground, by the earth itself. And know that this same earth has carried the footsteps of those who came before us. It remembers their labor, their laughter, their longing. And we are rooted here in a web of connection that stretches far beyond, far behind, and far ahead. And I'll invite you to bring your attention to our ancestors. Picture their faces, their hands, their lives. Think of the stories that live in your heart, the struggles they endured, the dreams they carried, and the hopes they whispered for the future. We stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. So let their names, spoken or unspoken, rise within you. And let their presence be felt in your breath and in your heartbeat and in the ground beneath your feet. And now I ask that you turn your attention forward to the legacy we are shaping here tonight, the values, the love, the justice that we are passing on. Think of those who will one day stand on our shoulders. And let that vision take root in us. Nourished by the courage and resilience we've inherited. And let our hearts hold both directions at once, the gift we received and the gifts we will give. And as we move through this evening, telling stories, bearing witness, and raising resources, may we remember that we are part of something larger than ourselves, our past, our present, and our future, braided together in the work of justice and love. And now let our collective breath find us here in this space. Inhale hope. Exhale despair. Inhale justice. Exhale harm. Inhale solidarity. And exhale brokenness. And when you are ready, open your eyes carrying them, our ancestors, and our legacy into this moment. Now I'll pass it back to Bryn and Brandon.
Wow, thank you so much, Sumiko. I can feel my heartbeat. Thank you for helping us to center ourselves. I feel both softened and full of a complicated energy. As your hosts, Bryn and I will be leading all of us through an evening of award celebrations, artist performances, and reports from Suru's campaigns. We want to take a moment to check in on the fundraiser. So this event, Voices in Solidarity, is the culmination of Suru's mid-year campaign, which has so far received a total of $24,012.18. Thank you so much to everyone for your generous support. Our goal this evening is to reach $50,000. There it is. Towards that, we encourage you to share the donation link widely among your family, friends, allies, networks. The link is in the chat. There's also a QR code on the screen. If you plan to give by check, you can also let our fundraising chair know by emailing your pledge to fundraisingchair@suruforsolidarity.org. So let's see if we can meet or even exceed our goal. Now, to officially kick things off with our first performance, we are very excited to welcome award-winning speaker, singer, facilitator, and global justice strategist Aisha Fukushima into the space. Please welcome Aisha.
As a raptivist, as an activist, as a cultural strategist, someone who's constantly looking for ways to help promote good change in the world, for justice, for freedom, and for greater equality among many folks, my art speaks to that vibe. And so I hope that you all will resonate with it today. This first poem that I would love to share is called Butterfly. Shout out to Mike Blankenship for the incredible keys and production on this. In the land of the free and the home of the how can this be the land of the free and the home of the brave when so many people live in fear? I captivate, reincarnate with an imagination state of mind. Teacher, I am more than those underestimations combined. Do you mind? I am growing here, cocooned in a cacophony of sounds and silences like ancestors' footsteps that pace with my heart. I am more than your labels make me out to be. I am more than those labels make me out to be. I am human, first and foremost. I said, I am human, first and foremost, except for when I am a butterfly, whose metamorphosis reopens the orifices of our connectivity. We are more connected than we pretend to be. Let these wings make me free as I fly on the winds of change. A new season has come. Rearranged, the old one is done, interchanged, and living as a butterfly has taught me one thing. There is no beginning or ending, only shape-shifting. So let us call this a transformation. Let us call this a reformation. My wing pattern is a blueprint for elevation, and there ain't no stopping this reclamation, constructed in a language of sounds and silences that must be read between the lines until we realize that this whole reality is constructed. The education that values one human life over another is corrupted. Migration is a way of life. I said migration is a way of life, and I float by pushing myself up on matter that I cannot see, like dreams. Shape-shift in a medium of creativity. Sometimes it's hard to be a butterfly when you were built to soar, and some try to colonize the sky. How can you divide the air? Must be hard to breathe if we don't want to share. This is the life of a butterfly, karma and samsara, birth and rebirth. I am woman and I know my worth, monarch but not imperial. I spit philosophies that ain't ethereal. I keep rising and shining, wondering, can you hear me though? I keep rising and shining, wondering, can you hear me though? So as we float, as we fly, as we flutter, the warmth of prayers that melt like butter lies over aching wounds. Erected in remembrance, stand high like pyramid tombs. This is for you, and for you, and for you, and for all of you. Hold your head high as you speak your truths. I said, birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for we, yeah. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. Ooh, and we feeling good. Give yourselves a round of applause, all the emojis, all the love. Thank you all for dropping into the chat and showing love. All of that is welcome, and I'm so grateful that we're able to cipher that right here in this space to one another. Are y'all having a good time? I hope so.
Thank you so much, Aisha. That was beautiful and such a beautiful way to open the program tonight. As Aisha said, we can encourage you to show love through the reaction button at the bottom of your Zoom screen, or through the chat. Your praise and gratitude are really welcome there. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be hearing from many more artists throughout the evening, and we'll also be presenting 4 Leadership and Activism Awards. Members of SUDU will also be sharing updates about the imperative work happening through various campaigns on the ground. So here to speak about our first campaign is Healing Justice Co-Chair and Representative Julie Abo.
Hello. Thank you, Bryn. And thank you all so much for joining us tonight. And thanks to Aisha Fukushima for that love and that resilience. Tonight, we hope to have some truly healing poetry and a celebration of our leaders. First, I'll tell you who we are and what we do, and then I'll give you our update. The Healing Justice Campaign supports the other SUDU campaigns through Healing Justice. Our work sprang out of the healing circles initiated by Dr. Satsuki Ina, one of our founders, in the early days of SUDU. After direct action protests, there was a need to gather and hold space for the group to process the acts of justice that promote healing, and the healing circles were born. Today, the Healing Justice Campaign has blossomed into 3 teams: Healing Arts Collective Team, Healing Circles Team, and the Community Resilience Team, as you can see in this chart, in this graphic. And thanks to Nora Yasumura for creating the graphic. And there's the 3 teams. So the Healing Arts Collective Team is led by Leslie Ishii and Keiko Kubo. They are a group of artists, theater directors, dancers, and musicians who embody social justice healing through dynamic art. For example, they created beautiful folded cranes to convey bright and bold symbols of solidarity and peace at the 2025 Day of Remembrances, protests at Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma, along with La Resistencia, showed support for LAMLE in the Bay Area, and recently at the Ice Out of Dublin protest in Dublin, California. They also staged a reenactment of the World War II forced removal of Japanese Americans in Seattle for the Day of Remembrance, and performed music and dance, and an extra large daruma at the Liberation Obon at the Northwest Detention Center, to name a few of their many wonderful activities. The Healing Circles team is led by Patty Ayukawa and Nora Yasumura, and they continue the work of the Healing Circles protocol created by Dr. Satsuki Ina. We offer healing circles for change to our members and community partners, rooted in Indigenous talking circles. Healing circles are an opportunity for sharing stories across generations and experiences in a facilitated, empathetic space. And most recently, the Healing Circles team provided support for the Tule Lake Pilgrimage in Klamath Falls, the reparations team at the National Reparations Rally in Washington, D.C., held a facilitated conversation in partnership with Henry Kaku and a screening of Haruka Sakaguchi's film Loyal American, which another one will be held soon. The Community Resilience team is led by Dr. Satsuki Ina and Katie Uemura and Stephanie Fuji. They work on using multiple healing for justice modalities, styles, and protocols for Utsuru's actions. A goal is to build collaborative practices with other community partners to honor their ancestral legacy and define how it resonates with ours. They most recently worked with the PPD campaign to support Lamle and ICE out of Dublin, working one-on-one with individuals. We hope that tonight will bring you a moment of healing justice through poetry and music shared in community. If you are interested in joining us, please contact either Grace Morizawa or myself at the email addresses here, and we hope that you can join us on August 27th for our next event. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Julie. And great t-shirt, by the way. I think we'll notice some people wearing Suru t-shirts, which are available somehow. Suru's healing justice work is a beautiful example of how social justice work is inseparable from storytelling, creativity, deep listening, inseparable, that is, from the heart. In this, Suru is exemplary. They are more than an organization. They are a community of compassion and of conscience. Their nonviolent direct action work supporting and building solidarity with other communities of color is grounded in an ethos of love, which we desperately need. Within an environment and a nation of perpetual compounded crisis, it can be difficult to find our bearings. We often find ourselves asking, what can we do? Suru for Solidarity embodies a reminder and a direction. They remind us that we have been here before, that we stand on the moral authority of Japanese and Okinawan Americans who suffered the atrocities and continue to endure the legacy of US concentration camps. And through the nature of their work, Suru illuminates clearly the path forward. One way we can all support this work is by making a donation. Tonight, tomorrow, throughout the year, donations are a direct and consequential way of getting involved in social justice work, especially for folks who are not able to be involved on the ground. We all have the power to redistribute wealth and resources away from investments in the many forms of injustice by which our citizenship is unfortunately bound, and towards people who are fighting those forms of injustice. Again, our goal tonight is to raise $50,000. We'll keep sharing the link in the chat, the QR code on the screen. And if you miss it, suruforsolidarity.org. And we also want to make space right now before we hear some poetry. Mike talked at the beginning of tonight about the violence that is taking place in LA and Little Tokyo. And somebody in the audience, I think, said they had something to say. You're welcome to speak now. If you want to remain silent, that's fine. Or if anybody else wants to share their thoughts about what's happening now in Little Tokyo. We will continue to make space for community. So if something does come to mind or you feel empowered to speak, then just let us know in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. We're very, very, very grateful to be presenting throughout the evening, as Brandon mentioned, some poets and poems from both the Gate of Memory and beyond. So the Gate of Memory is an anthology that features 66 descendants of people incarcerated in Canada and the US during World War II. The first poet we'd like to introduce you tonight is Troy Osaki. Troy is a Filipino-Japanese poet, organizer, attorney, and Grand Slam poetry champion whose family was incarcerated in Minidoka and Crystal City. Troy will be reading an original poem as well as the opening poem to the Gate of Memory, Instructions to 1942, by Anne Yukie Watanabe, a Yonsei Shin Nisei writer and organizer in Chicago. Anne's grandparents were incarcerated in Tashme and Lillooet in Canada. Please welcome our dear friend, Troy.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Bryn. Thank you, Sudu, for Solidarity, for holding this space tonight and having me. Yeah, my name's Troy, he, him, calling in from Seattle, Washington. Very, very grateful to be here with all of you. I'm fourth, fifth generation Japanese, mixed Filipino-Japanese. Shout out all the mixed people here. And as Bryn was mentioning, on my Japanese side, my grandma was about 12 years old during the war, and she was initially taken to the Puyallup Fairgrounds, and then eventually Minidoka, Idaho. While her and her siblings and her mother were in Idaho or Minidoka, her dad was taken elsewhere. So he was the Buddhist priest at the Seattle Buddhist Temple. So he was seen as a higher level of threat to national security and taken to various camps. So Missouri, Louisiana, New Mexico, Texas. And then they all reunited in Crystal City, Texas at a certain point. I'm excited and very grateful to be able to share two poems with you today. I have the privilege of starting out with sharing Anne Watanabe's poem that Bryn mentioned, that was contributed to this very incredible, generous anthology, The Gate of Memory, Poems by Descendants of Nikkei Wartime Incarceration, edited by your wonderful hosts, Bryn and Brandon. For me, Anne's poem is very grounding. It starts out the anthology, and it's full of both deep fury and deep love for our families and people who experience incarceration, as well as those who are continuing to fight against fascism and for freedom for all communities. So I'm excited for you all to hear it. This is Anne Watanabe's Instructions to 1942.
Troy, before you start,
Yeah.
can I ask you to really read loudly so our whole audience can hear?
Oh, yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'll bring this a little bit closer to. Okay. This is Instructions to 1942. Instructions to all persons who incarcerated us. Go ahead, put up your posters, cast your nets, collect us, and send us to camp. Just know that we'll be back. Generations you never dreamed of will spill into your future. In a year or two, we'll go on strike. In 30 years, we'll ask our parents why they never told us. In 40 years, we'll testify against you. We'll haunt you in the White House, in our poems, in the streets. We'll fill the streets with our faces, our voices, with cardboard and black paint calling for abolition, solidarity, an end to borders, the fall of capitalism and freedom for all of us, not just some of us. We, the ghosts of the not yet born, We'll join black and brown hands to dig our nails into the Cook County Jail, Fort Sill, Berks County Detention Center, and pull until the roots come loose. You'll find us hosting open mics at town halls and healing circles. You'll find us bringing our young back to Manzanar. You'll find us scheming against you on Zoom screens. We'll leave mikans in the river for our dead babies in Tashme. In 80 years, we'll still be pounding mochi, drinking sake, and filling our pockets with laughter. Go ahead, fill up our mouths with the taste of shame, a flavor we know so well. Each generation will spit out young seeds that have fermented in our cheeks. We'll dig our nails into our families, into each other, ourselves, and shake until our spirits come loose. When the strawberry juice ran down your chin and we disappeared into barbed wire, guard towers, mountains, and dust, did you think you'd ever see us again? Was the sugar so sweet you forgot the sugar cane? Just wait. You'll feel our nails digging into you. We'll fill up your ears with sand till you hear us from inside of a seashell. You'll remember us then. 27, no. 28, no. And that was Anne Watanabe's Instructions to 1942. And then I'll end with one more poem. This piece is a piece I wrote after having spent some time visiting and supporting folks at the Northwest Ice Processing Center in Tacoma, Washington. I'm currently contributing to an alliance of organizations called Tango Migrante, which translates into Defend Migrants in Filipino. We've been able to identify Filipino migrants who've been detained and raise their issues and concerns to campaigns. And in the last few months have been able to support the release of 4 Filipinos, some of whom have been here for over decades. And after this, I'll actually be transitioning to my phone to head to the detention. One of the folks we're working with, he's been passing blood every time he uses the bathroom for the last 3 weeks, and he's not getting the needed medical attention that's necessary. So I'll be checking in on him. But overall, I think what's really important is as I write poems that give voice back to my family whose voices were locked away, right? I don't want to fixate on the past, but rather connect my family's experience to what's happening today. It's not enough to examine history, but the point is to change its course and to make it better for all people. So this poem is about some of my current work. And I think just one last note, the Tango Migrante movement is hosting a conference at the end of the month in Portland with the International Migrants Alliance. I know that folks would love to see folks from the Sudu for Solidarity community there. They'll be talking about the current political situation and how to fight back as a community. It'll be in Portland. And then on Monday, September 1st, there will be a mobilization at the detention center in partnership with La Resistencia. So invite and welcome all folks to join. I'll drop my Instagram handle. It's Troy Osaki, and I'm happy to answer any questions or connect with anyone who's interested in learning more. And I can also share more information in the chat. But thank you again so much for having me. If you haven't yet, please remember to donate to Sudu for Solidarity. We're hoping to raise over $50,000 tonight. and we'd love, everyone's support. So this is my last poem. It's about one of the folks I got to work with. He was unjustly put into a higher level of security, similar to my great grandpa, and he was put in segregation. So he didn't see anyone else. He was put in a room alone for 3 weeks and didn't see the sun or the sky for 3 weeks, right? And so this poem, I was has little to do with that situation and the conditions of the detention right now. In segregation, Kuya asks me to send him word search puzzles, the kind where words are jumbled onto a grid, backwards or diagonal. I buy a book of them, each page themed St. Patrick's Day, America in January. Before head counts, he does 500 push-ups. Guards slip a tray of beans through his door slots. He talked once to his neighbor through a crack in the wall. He hasn't talked to anyone since. In his pod, he ate ramen with others, split a Twix with his bunkmate. He remembers the father from Egypt who took a razor, buzzed his head, and brushed hair lightly off the back of his neck. He remembers he was the last person he touched. All right, thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Troy. We love you. Love listening to you. And thank you also, Anne. We are now going to introduce our first award of the night. Here to present our first Leadership and Activism Award is Katie Uemura. Katie has been an important part of Suru's healing justice work, including in Hawaii. Please welcome Katie.
Okay, got it. Noelani Ahia is a diaspora Kanaka Maoli, native Hawaiian, who returned from the continent to her ancestral Aina of Lahaina, Maui, once the cultural center of the Hawaiian kingdom. Her activism and leadership are born from being a healer returning to her genealogical home. Her integrative healing practice of acupuncture, herbal, and indigenous medicine, her generative and creative spirit as an artistic performer, and her ability to turn structures of colonial trauma into models of culturally relevant care and resilience. For over 15 years, she has defended the land, waters, and rights of her people. Noelani co-founded the Maui Medic Healers Hui, bringing her street medic skills from Mauna Kea in 2019, spending months in a bus to care for the protectors of the mountain. The infrastructure and relationships built there enabled the Hui to mobilize within a day of the Lahaina fires, delivering trauma-informed and culturally rooted care reaching Kanaka, as well as Filipino, Micronesian, Latinx, and marginalized, unsheltered communities when formal agencies could not. Noelani reminds us that the trauma from the fires is part of a greater unresolved trauma held by generations of her people who have lost their land, culture, and sovereignty. It is a structural system that took Hawaii from a thriving native population of nearly 1 million to fewer than 40,000. The hope for the restoration of Lahaina is reflection not what it was pre-fire, but to its potential pre-contact. By challenging a narrow Maui County Council loss she and her grassroots supporters interrupted the systemic power structure of settler colonialism. This empowered her community by demonstrating their collective strength in challenging the existing power structure of Western colonizers and more recently, Asian Americans. In her legal action against the state of Hawaii and developers for the desecration of sacred burial sites, Noelani is committed to cultural heritage justice for her indigenous people. The mana, life force energy from kupuna, ancestor bones being planted back in the ground, nourishes generations to come. A preliminary injunction stopped the desecration, affirming the highest protection for ancestral resting places. Please join me in honoring with great love the visionary Noelani Ahia, activist, protector, truth teller, and a recipient of this year's Sudu for Solidarity Leadership and Activism Award.
Aloha mai kako. Aloha Katie. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm very, very humbled to be here. I wanted to thank the Sudu founders, my dear friend Mike Ishii. He and I graduated from acupuncture school together back in 2008. And of course, Dr. Satsuki Ina, who is an inspiration for all of us. But this Sudu family that you folks have created has been a beacon for us at Maui Medics. You folks have been an example of what true solidarity looks like. I'm so emotional already from this presentation so far, and the amazing poetry and the amazing artistry and the gifts that people are bringing to their communities for healing. And I'm a little bit tongue-tied because I'm so emotional, but this work that you folks do at Sudu and the work of standing with organizations like ours and Solidarity, La Resistance, all of the other orgs that we all work with, gives me hope that liberation for all is possible, that we can get there together. And I'm just so honored and humbled. I'm looking at some of these pictures in the background of when Sudu was in Hawaii a few months after the fires to help train some of our community leaders to run Talk Story circles in their own community. So we had representatives from our Micronesian, Samoan, Tongan, Latinx, Filipino, and of course, Kanaka Maoli communities. We had an amazing time with Sudu in Hawaii. And I'm seeing some other photos that passed from yesterday. Myself, along with 4 other comrades here on Maui, were arrested in our quest for housing justice on Maui. That's us after we just got released from jail. We were arrested on trespassing charges for protecting land and people, especially our Kanaka Maoli unsheltered community, because in Hawaii, we currently represent only 10% of the population as our native population. And our houseless community, we represent about 50%. Our people have been continually displaced for generations, and enough is enough. So if we need to put our bodies on the line, then that's what we do. And that's what happened yesterday. So more to come about that from our organization. You can always find our website, Maui Medic Healers Hui. .org, I think, if you want more information. But again, I'm just so honored to be here. Thank you to Satsuki and Mike, and I see Leslie on here, and Becca, and all of the folks that came to Maui after the fires. We're so grateful and appreciative. And just mahalo nui from the deepest part of my soul. And Katie, who's participating in our political education class. I also need to mahalo my team, some of whom are on tonight. They're not my team, like we're collective. We're not, we're a collective, and we work in collaboration with other organizations collectively because it's our collective humanity that we're working to heal and restore justice for. So again, mahalo nui loa. Thank you so much for having us. And I look forward to the rest of the presentations. Mahalo nui. Aloha.
Congratulations so much, Noelani, and for sharing your fierce energy and your emotion. So meaningful, your vital work. And again, that's Maui Medic Healers Hui. So thank you again. We're now going to turn to two Suru members who will be sharing our second and third campaign updates. Founding member Stan Shikuma will be speaking about the Child and Family Detention Campaign, and Sumiko Wong will be speaking about the Police, Prisons, and Detention Campaign. Welcome, Stan and Sumiko.
Can you hear? Yeah?
Yeah. Yes, we can hear.
Okay, thank you. This is Stan Shikuma. I'm a Sansei in Seattle. My father's family was sent to Salinas Fairgrounds first, and then sent to Poston 2 on the Colorado River Indian Reservation. My mom's family was in Shelton, Washington, and taken away directly to Tule Lake. I'm co-chair with Keiko of the Child and Family Detention Campaign for Tsuru. We've been working for several years. One of the original reasons Tsuru formed was because of family separation and child detention under the zero tolerance policy and Trump #1. And although they no longer continue that specific policy, family separation continues, and they've just opened new family detention centers in Texas, 2 of them. Should we go to the next slide? I don't know. So, okay. Yeah, so here's some of the activities we've been doing in Seattle. So Liberation au Bon at the Northwest Detention Center, sometimes called the Northwest ICE Processing Center. We like to keep the detention in because it tells exactly what goes on there. It's not just processing. Makes it sound like you're using packages and not people. So we did a celebration of the dead outside the detention center last summer. You can see us dancing on the side there. We also did 1-year anniversary vigil for the death of Charles Leo Daniel. He was a man who was held in solitary confinement for nearly 4 years inside the detention center and died in solitary, even though other people were telling the guards that they needed to check on him. They just dismissed it, and an hour or 2 later, when they finally did check on him, he was in critical condition and eventually died. Can we go to the next slide? I'll just say that currently Resistencia, La Resistencia, who are our partners, who are the leaders of the struggle to shut down the Northwest Detention Center, just found out that there is an individual inside who is on a hunger strike. Started it 3 days ago and is continuing it. Resistencia members and leadership are out there at this moment holding a vigil, and they'll do that on a daily basis until ICE releases him, ICE deports him, or he decides that he will end his hunger strike. But that's part of the support that Resistencia and Tsuru joins them many times, shows for the people on the inside of the detention center. Here you can see part of other gatherings we did. We did a Day of Remembrance, kind of a memorial walk through this International District in the old J-Town area of Seattle. You can see the Daruma-san, again, Daru-chan, that our local art committee built. It was rainy the day that we had Day of Remembrance, so we set up tents, thanks to Resistencia, who supplied the canopies to shelter people from the rain. And then, I don't really remember which
That was also Day of Remembrance.
Another day of remembrance. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So we do a lot of activities in Seattle, particularly at the detention center, but also in conjunction with a lot of partner organizations for Day of Remembrance in particular. Blaine Memorial United Methodist Church is one of them. Densho, Seattle chapter of JACL, the Puyallup Valley chapter of JACL, the Minidoka Pilgrimage Planning Committee, and the Japanese Cultural and Community Center of Washington have all supported, cooperated, and worked with Suru here in Seattle. The picture of the grouping there is a community gathering that we held a few months ago, and we're going to do something similar next week, Seattle Japanese American Town Hall, which we'll be holding at the MLK, Martin Luther King Fame Center in the Central District. Last thing I'll say is that it's really important to support Suru with your body, but also with your money. So I just went to the QR code and pledged $95 a month, which works out to about $1,000 a year. But who has $1,000 to lay down? But if you break it down into little chunks, it becomes easier to do. I challenge anyone to match that. Let me know if you do. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Stan, for your report and the unrelenting work that you all are doing in Seattle. There's so much work going on here in the Bay Area also, and I will just touch on a few to highlight because there is so much every day that we're working on, right? But here in the Bay, we have continued to support our friend Lum in his fight for a pardon against deportation. Through this work, we have also been honored to help the relaunch of Pardon Refugees campaign. This is a collective effort to fight for pardons for the Southeast Asian refugees and immigrants facing deportation. This year, we have been seeing the highest number of Southeast Asian deportations ever recorded, part of the troubling rise in detentions and removals. Lum and others' pardoned applications are currently pending, and if granted, they would provide essential relief and stop the deportation of the community members who have long called the U.S. home. Next Thursday, we'll join many of our Bay Area partners, including New Light Wellness, Interfaith, SERI, APSC, EMAC, and Viet Unity and at the Capitol for a press conference and a rally to call attention to this issue. So if you're available, please join us. And one other thing we did this summer, some of you know of our work in Dublin to stop the reopening of FCI Dublin. So on July 19th, Suru for Solidarity, in collaboration with the ICE Out of Dublin Coalition, held a powerful rally at Don Biddle Park to raise awareness about the possible reopening of an ICE detention center at the former FCI Dublin site. Deep gratitude goes out to all the Bay Area Suru volunteers who made this event possible. With support from over 70 endorsing organizations and more than 60 volunteers, the rally drew over 300 attendees, and it became a vibrant expression of community and solidarity of resistance. Some of the highlights included a stirring performance by Kongo Gumi, a taiko group, and Dr. Doug Yoshida. He shared his experience both as a descendant of incarceration and as a physician who treated inmates at FCI Dublin. We also honored artist Akemi Ina with a special dedication for her moving Suru crane artwork. This rally was a reminder that our stories, voices, and collective action are super vital in this time. The work is far from over, but together we will continue to rise. And like I said, there's so much more going on in the Bay Area, and I appreciate all the volunteers doing your work throughout the Bay. I will now pass it back to Bryn and Brandon.
Thank you so much, Sumiko and Stan. And Stan, I appreciate that challenge to donate. It looks like in the chat there are already 3 people who rose to the challenge, so that's incredible. Thank you all. It's so inspiring to hear about this work, and we're incredibly grateful for Sudu's Leadership Council and the leaders of these campaigns for your vital work, and deep gratitude to all of those in the community who have volunteered your time, your resources, your minds, your bodies, your hearts, and attended actions and gatherings. Your support is essential, especially during this time of emergency. Sudu volunteers come from all over the US. Shout out to our volunteers in Washington, especially Oregon, Hawaii, and California, everyone who has lent their voices and their energy to these campaigns. So before we move on to a fundraiser report and our next performer, we'd like to make a little bit of space for a couple of folks who are going to share about what's happening in Los Angeles as the events are sort of unfolding as we speak, as we meet tonight. I know Lisa Doi and Kathy Masaoka and possibly others were willing to speak and share their voice and their reflections. So we wanted to make some space for that. Feel free to unmute, Kathy or Lisa, if you're able to.
Maybe I'll start only
Yeah.
because I am with Nikkei Progressives and we're part of the Rapid Response Network that Chirla organized in the city of LA. So we were getting reports on our signal channels that something was going on in Little Tokyo this morning. And we thought at first it was simply, officials that were there because of Governor Newsom having a press conference at the Democracy Center. But immediately realized, one of the staff realized that it was Border Patrol that had gathered over at the plaza, where people had gathered in 1942 to be taken to the camps. In that very spot, there were about 40 Border Patrol folks there. And, so the signal went out for people to come down to Little Tokyo. Because we're part of a rapid response network, we also have Little Tokyo residents and businesses and workers or, staff people that are on that response network. So they kind of mobilize quickly. And, some of us live farther away. So I actually got down there after the Border Patrol had left. We also had people at the federal building at a press conference around the conditions at the federal building because they've been rounding up so many people that they've been housing them in very bad conditions at the federal building, just throwing them in the basement. So Congresswoman Chu was there to talk about that and to criticize that and to question that. But in terms of the Border Patrol at the Janum site, people were there very quickly. The Union del Barrio is another group that I think followed the Border Patrol from the detention center, so they knew where they were going. And people were there telling ICE out, to get out. They were doing these random sweep. They picked up one person, and we thought three, but we're confirming that one person was picked up. And they stayed around for a bit, and then they went down to the Fashion District, Skid Row, and apparently this is the first day of school. So school teachers and everybody's on alert that they're going to be coming down to the school. So that's another mobilization that's going on in LA, is that teachers and other people are preparing to protect children and the high schools, and especially in the Latino, Latinx, populations. So Little Tokyo is organized. We are not in a lockdown, although it feels like we are, and we're definitely under attack. And they're ignoring the temporary restraining order, which says they cannot pick up people randomly without a warrant. I mean, that's the law, and they were told they have to follow the law. And they are not. They just are flagrantly. They were there, we think, to show Newsom, to stick it in his face and to say that we're here. We don't care if you're here. We're going to do whatever we want to do. So that was what we feel they were there for, So that's kind of my take and our take on what was happening here, and will continue to happen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy, for your leadership and for speaking tonight. And thank you to Nikkei Progressives. I think Lisa Doy's Wi-Fi might have cut out, so we'll see if there's another time in the program to make some space for Lisa. But it really just brings home, I think, Sudu's motto of never again is now. And we're feeling that more and more every day. So yeah, thank you, Kathy. We appreciate that. We're going to do a quick check to see where we're at with our fundraising. And I believe Hannah might have some information to share, possibly an update to screen share. And as that's happening, we just, we want to remind folks that, no matter how small nothing is too small really to give. It's really just a way to put energy towards Suru's vision for the future and towards healing and to sort of be a part of the Suru community. So thank you so much to those who have given already and who have risen to the various challenges that have been thrown out this evening already. Maybe I'll look on, we might have an update on our, looks like something's coming through.
What's it gonna say? What's it doing?
What's it gonna
All
say?
right.
Oh, wow, amazing. All right, we're at 28,000. Oh, 28,000 something, 446. 146 people donated. Thank you all. This is really amazing, very amazing. So let's keep the energy going, keep that going for the evening. Thank you. Once again, just a reminder, you can use the QR code or go to Suru's website and click the donate button, and please share it widely among your friends and family. We're going to transition again now, one more time, to introduce some more poetry this evening. And my dog is starting to bark because she's very excited about this, about Kiku coming on. So we'd like to share we'd like to welcome the wonderful Kiku Hughes, who will be sharing some work with us. Kiku is a Yonsei cartoonist based in Seattle and the author of the award-winning graphic novel Displacements. And Displacement is one of my favorite books about our history that I've ever read. It's so moving, it's so powerful. Kiku will be reading a poem from The Gate of Memory by Toronto-based writer and artist Erica H. Isomura, whose grandparents were incarcerated in Tashme and Greenwood, as well as a poem by the beloved Palestinian poet and professor Rafat Alarir. Hello, Kiku, welcome. As you're coming onto the screen, we also want to shout out the Suru leaders who are gathered there with you in Seattle watching us tonight. Hi.
Hi, I hope you can hear us okay.
Yes.
Great. Yes, thank you so much to you, Bryn, and to Brandon, and to everyone who's joining us today. And a huge gratitude to the Seattle Suru leaders that we have in the room, as well as those who are not able to join us in person today. We're so grateful for their ongoing work at Direct Action at Northwest Detention Center, as well as their work monitoring the ICE flights both regionally and nationally in partnership with La Resistencia. And yeah, I'm honored to share a poem by Erica H. Isomura, a writer, poet, and interdisciplinary artist who was raised by a Cantonese-Canadian mother and a Sansei Japanese-Canadian father on Kakite territories, colonially known as New Westminster, BC. Her grandparents were incarcerated at Tashme and Greenwood, BC. Erica currently lives in Takaronto, also known as Toronto. And I'll be reading her poem, Haibun, for February 19. After the Tsuru for Solidarity and Densho Day of Remembrance, Day of Action on February 23rd, 2020, at the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma, Washington. We stand huddled together, drenched along barbed wire fence, strung with hundreds upon hundreds of origami cranes, such delicate paper frames flap in the wind, clouds spinning. I never thought somebody could camouflage into a mass of rainbow rain jackets. Each person arrived dressed in layers as if destined for a Pacific Northwest trailhead. Instead, this protest, not pilgrimage, led me to drive across the border into Tulalip, Duwamish, Puyallup territories. I find myself in Tacoma, named after a snowy white peak which could have been more peaceful if not for the sheer ICE detention center. Confronting bad climate, a crowd chants, Libertad, no Marias, hoping the people locked up inside know how much we value their lives. On the mic, a survivor dreams of marching on Washington, D.C. to close the camps and convene the largest gathering of Japanese Americans since forcible removal from their homes 70 years ago. Ume blossom embraces the tree branch, seagull flies away. Thank you so much. I was invited to also read a second poem, and this year Tsudu begun its first Palestinian Solidarity Working Group within its PPD campaign. In honor of that work and in acute awareness of the ongoing starvation and genocidal campaign being waged against Palestinians today, I am reading If I Must Die by Rafat Al-Arir. If I must die, you must live, to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings. Make it white with a long tail so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze, and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that, Kiku. So mentioned underneath Al-Arir's poem, If I Must Die, was that he was killed on December 6, 2023. He wrote that poem for his daughter, Shema, who was killed just a few months later. Thank you, Kiku, for bringing Gaza into our consciousness tonight. And thank you for reading Erica's poem. And also, again, to echo what Bryn said, Displacement is also one of my favorite books on incarceration. I've read it many times, and I always gasp and burst into tears every time I read it. I'm now going to welcome Suru co-founder and executive director Mike Ishii back into this space. And Mike is going to introduce our second Leadership and Activism Award. Mike.
Thank you, Brandon. Gerline Joseph is a human rights advocate, visionary, and strategist. She co-founded the Black Immigrants Bail Fund and the Cameroon Advocacy Network. She was named as one of the BBC's Women Leaders of 2024 and is a recipient of the Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Award and has received numerous other recognitions for her courageous and tireless work for those whose voices are often least acknowledged. She is a voice for those who have been unheard previously, advocating and driving policy and narrative work at the United Nations, in our nation's capital, online, on TV, and in print media outlets. As the founding director of Haitian Bridge Alliance, she has worked tirelessly at the intersection of immigration, social, and human rights. When Gerline founded HBA, she was asking, who will fight for the rights of my people being targeted by the state? She realized that in order to protect people, she would need to create that organization. And so without prior experience or knowledge of how to lead an organization or a movement, she stepped forward, armed with only her courage, her innate ability to love and transform people's hearts around her, her talent for organizing, for bringing communities together in common cause and solidarity, and her granite resolve to make things different and better. And she is one of the most brilliant strategist advocates on the planet. Because Gerline never turns her back on anyone asking for help, Haitian Bridge answers the calls that come in the middle of the night, 365 days per year, from immigrants from all backgrounds, especially those who have nobody to turn to in their most difficult moments. They may be Haitian and African people who have migrated over 3 years in some cases through horrific conditions, fleeing political violence and climate injustice, who were then detained in the US, subjected to sexual and medical abuses, and then dropped off by ICE with nothing in bus stops in El Paso in the middle of the night. Or they may be Chinese immigrants at the Tijuana US border who have been abandoned in parking lots by ICE with no help, who are helped by HBA staff when nobody else will help or even speaks Chinese. HBA is always there because this is the house that Gerline built. Under Gerline's principled leadership, HBA sued the Trump campaign for targeting Haitian immigrants in Ohio with racist, dehumanizing tropes and claims during the presidential election of 2024. For that, she was doxxed by far-right fascists, received death threats, and was forced to hire security guards to protect her staff. She was undeterred. SUDU has been honored to work together with Gerline and HBA in the shutdown campaign for the Burks family detention sites in Pennsylvania. We stood together at Fort Bliss in El Paso and would continue to fight together to end family and child detention. Perhaps I am one of the luckiest people on the planet because as a member of SUDU, I am able to count Gerline Joseph as an advisor, trusted ally, and a friend who will stand shoulder to shoulder and protest at military bases to end child detention, who will offer consult at any hour, and who will always and never forget the need of friends. And by the way, she will also throw down and eat pancakes at 2 a.m. after a brutal day of protest. She always has SUDU's back, and Gerline, we have your back. We appreciate you and we love you, sister. Okage samada. Everyone, please join SUDU in celebrating and awarding the 2025 SUDU for Solidarity Community Leadership Award to Gerline Joseph, Executive Director of Haitian Bridge Alliance. Mwah.
Wow. My beloved brother, we are family indeed. And for the Japanese American siblings who didn't know, I am a self-proclaimed member of the community. And it has been a blessing to work with Mike and the entire team of Tsuru and many others within the Japanese American community. It has been a hard-fought battle from Berks to Bliss to DC to LA, and we continue to fight. And I believe very strongly that we have been called for such a time as this. And I have personally learned so much from the community to continue to resist and to continue to bring our communities together, to understand that there is no me without Mike and no Mike without me, because together we are stronger. And within the Haitian community specifically, just to give you a brief history of who we are as a people. In 1804, we became the first Black republic in this hemisphere, in the Black nation, to have fought against the mightiest armies of the time and to have won freedom, not only for Haitians, but for all people in need of safety, liberation, and freedom. And because of that, we dare to exist, we dare to become, we dare to usher in 1804 a new reality, a new world, and we dared to be Black. All of those were acceptable until the Black part. And once they realized that we were a new nation, thriving and governing by formerly enslaved people, that becomes unacceptable. And today, we hear the narrative of Haiti being the poorest country in the world. but we fail to hear how that has happened and how Haiti today continues to be in an abyss. We fail to remember that the United States never agreed to recognize Haiti as a country for the first 60 years and putting an international embargo on the new Black nation. And we fail to mention that France forced Haiti, in collaboration with the world powers, to pay for every enslaved people we fought to free. And we fail to remember that the United States colonized Haiti from 1915 for over 24 years, and thus creating the poverty we continue to witness today. And the United States went to Haiti and emptied the financial banks in Haiti to create what we call Citibank. So when you go to France and we enjoy the Eiffel Tower, remember, that's Haitian wealth, and that's why Haiti is poor. And when we have an account at Citibank, one of the largest banks in the world, remember, that's Haitian money, because that's what they used to fund Citibank. But to bring us to today and to the current attack we see on all people who are trying to fight to leave the world just a little bit better than we found it. And we continue to come together, hands in hand, shoulders in shoulder, to usher a new tomorrow, to fight against the belief that we have to continue in 2025 to be under attack. To be under attack. Everyone who is not falling in line will continue to be under attack. And so we continue to acknowledge that, and we continue to push forth the fight against the system that was created to kill all of us. And so we continue to highlight the fight for freedom for the Japanese American community, connecting that to the fight of caged people today, to the fight of those people who are in prisons. They call them detention. And I think one of our siblings mentioned earlier, these are not detention centers. These are cages that have been created to literally kill people. And we also acknowledge there are no borders for those who have the right skin complexion, for those who have the right passport, and for those who have money. The borders have been created for those marginalized, for those of us who needs to be able to freely move. It is an honor for me to accept this recognition from my Japanese American family, from my siblings at Soros for Solidarity, and we are committed to continue the fight with you, to continue to push through, because as we continue to say, we love this country too much to not fight to make sure the United States is on the right side of history. So on behalf of everyone at the Haitian Bridge Alliance, the Haitian community, the Haitian American community, we want to say thank you for your support, for your courage, and for being on this fight with us. And as we say in Haiti, and which is our motto here at the Haitian Bridge Alliance, un pile main chay palou. Many hands lighten the load. Thank you so much. Merci un pile.
Thank you so much, Caroline. That was so inspiring. I feel really honored to be in this space with you, and I'm really appreciative of the way you brought in the history and helped us to remember in a time when we're being told to forget everything, and for making such strong connections between our communities. It's truly inspirational. Congratulations once again. Thank you. Thank you. So with that, we're going to transition to hear another report from one of our campaigns. We're going to hear a report back from the reparations campaign and welcome Mika Kennedy to share with us. And we also want to uplift the reparations co-chair, Peggy Nagai of Portland, Oregon. Hi, Peggy, and hello, friends in Portland. Thank you for gathering and watching tonight's. Please join me in welcoming Mika. Is Mika here? Portland here? Oh, let's see. Mika said, I'm not allowed to unmute myself. Let's see, how do we unmute Mika?
I think Casey's on it, maybe.
Hey, so can anyone hear the audio that goes with this video, or I cannot hear it, so I was wondering if anyone else could.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it either, but
Yeah, sorry. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I turned off sound, so. Which one do I share? Okay.
Tell me nothing. We give that to the people, spread it across the country. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give it to the people, spread it across the country. Here we go back. This is the moment. Tonight is the night.
It has to be Black led, make no mistake about it, but it has to be joined in by other groups, other Americans who just understand that this is a justice issue.
All right, thank you all for watching a brief video about what the reparations campaign has been up to that was put together by one of our very amazing and creative leaders, Miwa. So huge shout out to her for her technical magic for that. To offer a little bit more in terms of what some of those things are that you just saw, wanted to reiterate the primary goals of Tsuru's reparations campaign. We join Black leadership in the long-standing movement for reparations. And of course, we are guided, like all of Tsuru, in Japanese Americans' historical experiences of targeted incarceration, as well as in the redress space. We work in defiance of the anti-Blackness that is built into every aspect of the United States. Among these aspects, the weaponization in particular of Asian Americans against Black and other communities of color. And we work with an eye to the ways we might support reparations as a project that requires everyone and indeed calls on everyone in innumerable ways that we're always continuing to recognize new forms of and to foster. And so to that end, our campaign functions as space to build knowledge and skills together, whether that be through internal education or through external facing programs like some of those highlighted in the video. We hosted a talk and series of interactive workshops called How to Talk About Reparations with Dong Tamaki as part of the California Reparations Task Force. as well as a talk and conversation with Corinne Sugino, Dr. Corinne Sugino, called Storing Solidarity, where Corinne really gave us an overview of how anti-Blackness operates, how Asian Americans have been weaponized, and what language we can use to better understand those relationships and dismantle that narrative in place of storing solidarity. We've also turned out nationally this year at the DC Reparations Rally in May. We attended the rally, we lobbied members of Congress and worked on relationship building within the reparations space, and have been working to cultivate org-to-org and person-to-person relationships with a number of different reparations organizations. I guess not full accounting of, but some of our key examples are, of course, Oregon Reparations, whom you just saw attending a watch party, as well as SARC, the Seattle King County African American Reparations Committee, First Repair, in particular, the work they're doing kind of on the West Coast in places like Seattle and Oregon, and nationally, the Why We Can't Wait Network, as well as within the Japanese American community, the National Nikkei Reparations Coalition, where we joined Nikkei Progressives and NCRR, San Jose Resistors, and JACL. And look forward to more from us in terms of a social media campaign that we are currently building as we think through strategies related to reparations in a particularly contentious federal political context right now. We also have an upcoming film screening that just got greenlit several hours ago, so I don't have the full information on that, but definitely keep a lookout. And thank you so much for hearing a little bit about our campaign, and I hope you enjoy the rest of our program.
Thanks so much, Mika. That is the final campaign report back. And just again, the incredible, indispensable, inspiring work that Suru does, that our donations will continue to support that work. Yeah, it's really incredible listening to all these reports and to really understand the depth and the breadth of what Suru is actually doing on the ground. While we're on Portland, we wanted to re-highlight and shout out some of the watch parties that are taking place tonight. So I think we saw briefly the folks in Portland. Shout out to everyone at the Oregon Suru Watch Party. Hello, everyone. And then we also have the Suru gathering in Seattle, and we saw Stan and Kiku. There's the full panorama. And beautiful group of people in the Bay Area Watch Party. Hello, everyone. That looks like Jay-Say.
Yeah.
How nice. I'm sitting in a room all alone. I'm very envious of you all being all together. So thank you all. And we want to now introduce our final poet, our third and final poet. We want to once again thank all of tonight's poets for embodying so beautifully the liberatory force of poetry. This is what we believe. Poetry is a form of conscience. Poetry recovers that which violence takes away. And this is certainly true with our final poet, who is an enduring source of energy and inspiration. Please welcome back for the third time, Mike Ishii. Mike is going to read his poem From the Gate of Memory, the title of which is, fittingly, Suru for Solidarity.
Brandon, thank you so much for the kind introduction. I want to take this opportunity to just make a shout out. Let's see. I want to lift up one of the newer sort of chapters, hubs in Suru, the Oregon chapter. I want to wave to you all. I got to visit with them a few months back, but I just want to lift up the work that the different regional hubs are doing around the country. And, you know, also a shout out to everyone who is zooming in tonight from many different places. SUDU is a vast network. We certainly have hubs of work where there's concentrations of the JA community, but we are everywhere and we're working through network. Folks in Iowa, in Michigan, in Texas, in North Carolina are all connected in, and we're all doing this work together. So thank you, everyone. I want to lift up a couple beautiful victories that we want to not go by without acknowledging and celebrating. One is that the reparations campaign this year was very instrumental and received a lot of appreciation from Black organizers in Washington State for our work to help get the legislation for a commission for reparations in Washington passed. That was an effort. That was organizing on the ground and in solidarity with Black organizers. And I would just want to give a shout out to the reparations campaign for their work there. Thank you very much for your beautiful work. I also want to uplift the work of our newest hub in Oregon for your work in helping to stop the passage of proposed legislation that would have okayed the use of drones for surveilling communities. And the organizers who opposed that legislation actually offered an acknowledgement to the Oregon SUDU folks because it was in part your organizing that helped block that terrible violent legislation from going through. As a community that knows surveillance, it was wonderful how you stepped into our legacy and provided the resistance there and support for the community. So thank you very much. I am zooming in tonight from San Antonio. SUDU hosted a national reconvening of the national coalitions to oppose family detention and child detention. These are the two areas that we stepped into in the earliest days of our work. And in this moment, when the administration has weaponized both of these areas once again, removing legal protections for children. We have 3-year-olds representing themselves in immigration court hearings right now. We have birthright citizen children being deported. We have children with cancer being deported right now. We have wellness checks in schools and all sorts of ICE raids now openly targeting young people. We also have the reopening of family detention and the multiple groups that assembled here in Texas for the past 4 days were full of energy. They were full of commitment and determination. And I have to say that I'm leaving Texas feeling deeply heartened in a moment of great violence, even as they attack one of our central Japanese American communities today. I'm taking strength and inspiration from the many organizers that came together in Texas to join hands in support and strength. SUDU is piloting some new work, and I want to share this as an example of where your donations can support us. We are working with organizers from Oklahoma, from Florida, and from Texas to pilot a brand new leadership cohort for young survivors of current day detention. These are young people who have survived US detention, and we're bringing them together in a cohort to build relationship, to offer them resources, skills, and training in leadership development, and then also to offer them healing justice resources. This has never happened before. It's really important that this work be led by the most impacted people, and young people who have experienced mass incarceration are the people that we need to hear, and we need to lift their voices up right now. Your donations will help seed this important project as it goes forward. So I'd like to share a poem that I wrote in the earliest days of SUDU for Solidarity at the Northwest Detention Site with La Resistencia in 2018. It was performed with Kishibashi, and this poem is about our genesis. And it's really for all those who answer the call. If you seek an army for vengeance, you will not find it here. If retribution is the cry, we will not join you. When we employ violence against humans, physical, economic, psychological, spiritual, sexual, if we violate children, the sacred trust, then we act against ourselves and the universe. We are the crane people, fragile wings torn, bruised, resilient, born from righteous indignation. If you too search for courage to raise your voice and come to the fence in solidarity, armed with a faith in humanity, then join us. From every corner of the community, prayers inscribed on their wings come Suru, Los Pajaritos de Curación, talismanic, instilled with ancestral kimochi, containers of long-held grief spilling forth, Kodomo no Tamini, folded by hands that remember the sting of desert sand and wind, holding memories of gaman, of horse stalls, guard towers, stockades, hardened resolve, silent tears, of surveillance, manipulation, questionnaires, and fracturing, of Obachan's despair, of guards' hands defiling young bodies, of clenched fingers bearing weight of suitcases filled with anxieties. These hands remember intimately fathers taken in the night, silent terror, forced removals, separation of families, children behind barbed wire. Into the wings of Suru are folded 1,000 prayers, the thrum of taiko resonating the cries of humanity, and the resplendent light Amaterasu returned to the world to force back darkness. But in this time, it was our own incarcerated children who remembered we are the Suru, bringing the light and resonance, knowing rightly to return to the fences, engendering the wisdom to understand healing across time and space, across oceans and divided countries, opening the future. Suru, fly from Hiroshima to Puyallup, to Minidoka, Manzanar, Heart Mountain, Granada, Rower, Jerome, Topaz, Poston, Gila River, Tule Lake, and to Dilley, Laredo, Fort Sill, Yuba, Tacoma, Berks, Fort Bliss, Greensboro. Suru, soar to those targeted for destruction. Pass through barbed wire and chain link fence. Offer your preference to those most targeted, alight with those starving themselves in resistance, with families torn asunder. Fly to those despairing inside the cages. Join here to hold the center and look back directly at the violence. Itai, Itai. Touch your wings to minds lost in torture of others, and bring your light to these desecrated places. We call upon our ancestors in time of great need. Help us fly home to one another with resolve, and to our furthest and most internal spaces, our luminous centers, embracing strength, wisdom, kindness, so that in radiant constellation, we may return together to end the violent cycle of forced removal, mass incarceration, separation of families, deportations, and together heal the wounds spanning across the generations. Satsuki, Nancy, Barbara, Bruce, Duncan, Akemi, Kiyoshi, Emiko, Chizu, Masako, Lum, June, Maru, Leslie, Linda, Deepa, Taryn, Julia, Silky, Catherine, Betsy, Jan, Tadashi, and all who answer the call. Sister, brother, neighbor, survivor, descendant, stranger, friend. We are Tsuru for Solidarity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike. I was really struck by the line, join here to hold the center. And that's sort of the radiant constellation and that imagery of coming together. And you really are the center. You really are holding us in so many ways through your leadership and through your poetry and through your artistry and your healing. And it's just an honor to be in this space with you. So thank you for sharing the recent updates, but also that stunning poem that we're so honored to have in the Gate of Memory. Thank you, Mike. With that, we're gonna do a little check-in to see where we're at with our fundraiser this evening. And as we call on Hannah to show us another wonderful graphic to see how we're progressing, we want to uplift Kiyoshi Ina, who just pledged $1,000 in his late wife Akemi's honor. And Akemi Ina was a dear friend of Tsuru, and we are so grateful for Kiyoshi's generosity. Brandon and I just learned that Akemi made the original large, beautiful Tsuru that make their way to all of the direct actions and was making Tsuru even in her last days with her whole heart. And I want to thank Julie Abo for sharing that with us. It's such a beautiful image and gesture. So thank you so much to Kiyoshi. Thank you to all of you who have continued to donate. And it looks like we're up to 32,396 and 168 donations. We have a little bit more to go in our program this evening, and I think we can make it. I think we can make it to that 50,000. Continue to share the link, continue to spread the word to friends and family. And even if they don't donate tonight, just to get the word out there and to continue to share the work that Tsuru is doing. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And I'm going to pass it to Brandon, who's going to introduce, I believe, our final Leadership and Activism Award of the evening.
Yeah, thank you, Bryn. Yeah, right. This is our third and final Leadership and Activism Award, which will be presented to an organization. Here to introduce it is one of the recipients of last year's Leadership and Activism Award, June Hanamoto. June has been teaching and volunteering at San Quentin for 20 years. She's joining us from our Bay Area watch party again at JSA. Shout out again to the watch party and welcome to June.
Welcome everyone. So Healing Justice Campaign nominates Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity. They're a California statewide social justice organization, steadfast partner in Tsuru's work to support immigrants and to stop and close detention centers in Northern California, in California altogether. In the Bay Area, much of Tsuru's work interacts with the goals and beliefs of Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity. For more than 20 years, Interfaith has been joining hands with people of faith to defend humanity in the immigrant fight for their rights and fighting for the rights of the incarcerated. Their practice is to work with faith groups and other social justice groups to develop their own leadership against racism and discrimination. As a trusted and established social justice organizer, their partnership has been key to Tsuru's work to close detention sites in the Bay Area beginning before the COVID pandemic. Even before then, they had and continue to work with the Bay Area Day of Remembrance to remember Executive Order 9066 and to organize demonstrations that draw the parallel between today's immigration policies and the incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II. We have similar values in building our respective organizations and work. Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity's core belief is based on spirituality and love, just as Tsuru makes healing a core belief in its work. We are both intergenerational groups that support individuals and groups. Interfaith and Tsuru participate in each other's local actions, and they support Lam Lei's campaign and help bring and introduce us to other allies. Their scope, knowledge, and contacts about the local immigration scene has opened the doors for Tsuru in the social justice world and the Bay Area as a recognized social justice group. Specifically, Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity trains teams of volunteers to support and accompany people who are in detention or who have to attend frightening immigration hearings or begin their lives as newcomers to this country. They host regular prayer vigils at immigration detention centers to make visible the humanity of those detained. And they bring voices of faith leaders, both lay and professional, immigrant and non-immigrant, to coalition efforts that advocate for compassionate immigration policy. They promote and nurture the leadership of directly impacted immigrants and faith allies to stand up for the human rights and the dignity of all people. Just recently, Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity organized a 22-mile walk in the East Bay, attended by thousands of people, to speak up for Palestine and against genocide. We believe at this time in our we believe at this time in our work that Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity partnership with Tsuru is priceless, inspiring, and mutually supportive. Tsuru has a very deep heart connection with Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity. So I'd like to present this award to the group. We have, if the group could come up here, please. Interfaith group could come up. So here, Gayla King and Reverend Deb Lee and Danny Thongzi and Jose Ruben Hernandez are going to come up to accept the award. And their board member, Martha Masoko, are coming up to accept the award. And this is the Leadership Award. And Keiko Kubo has made this amazing, wonderful banner. She's working on it at this very moment, trying to finish it. It will be done very soon, but it's this beautiful banner for Interfaith.
Thank you, Auntie June and Keiko and Tsuru for Solidarity for this really humble award. My name is Gayla King. I'm the co-executive director, along with Deborah Lee of Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity. This is a really dark time that we're living through. And I'm so deeply grateful and blessed to be able to wake up in the morning and work with this incredible team, staff, in partnership with organizations like Sudu for Solidarity, as Auntie June mentioned. There's so much of our vision, our organizing that are so intertwined. We're in this moment where we don't know what the next 4 years are going to bring, but we anticipate it's going to be hard. And so one of the questions we've been asking ourselves is, who and how do we want to be during this time? And for us, we've been gifted with this name, Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity. This is our 10-year anniversary of this name. Given to us by one of our predecessors, Art Cribbs, and he was very intentional about the meaning and how do we honor, protect, uphold the human integrity of all people. And now it feels like the human integrity of so many are under attack. And so this is the time. This behooves us to really embody the name. And with Sudu for Solidarity, with our partnership, movement, that is also a part of our name. We are a part of a growing movement, a constellation of grassroots, community-led, allies, organizations that's growing. It might be dark, but we are shining our lights as bright as we possibly can. And so we're just so grateful for this award, for your partnership, Suru. We've been, locking arms in front of ICE buildings, in front of Dublin. We've been grieving together. We've been praying together, and we want to keep going. And so thank you again for this award on behalf of, this is half the staff, the other half, I think you see in the picture, and our board, as well as all the incredible community leaders that we get to work with on a daily basis. And Danny and Jose, who are here, are our faith organizers, and day in and day out, they are the ones that are getting calls from folks in detention, showing up at ICE check-ins, showing up for court hearings. We're taking a retreat this week, and I'm hoping they'll get to rest a little bit because we know our work will continue. But thank you again so much for this award.
I just want to say one little thing. Suru is like the Japanese American side of our extended family. And so we're so honored and to share that heart connection with all of you. I would love to invite the Suru community to join us at the end of September for a 3-day weekend looking at the issue of detention in the Central Valley in Kern County, where there are 2 existing detention centers and two prisons that the government plans and is proposing to convert into detention centers. So we'd love to have, I know Suru community likes to pilgrimage as well. So we'd love to have you join us and to have a Suru representation with us the end of September. Thank you. Anybody else? Dan, Jose?
I just want to just thank Suru for everything that for all the collaboration. I would say that for me, as it directly impacted myself, facing the immigration remove proceedings, have seen how Suru has basically come through for me as well. Also in situations where basically I feared for my safety and security in situations, Suru provided that safety for me in public speaking. So I would say that I am truly blessed to be in community with Suru. And I would say that, this is like I've been treated like family since basically this is the time that I have met up with Suru. So I look forward to continuing to collaborate and work together for the sake of to stop the expansion of ICE detentions in Dublin and California City or anywhere else in California, but just nationwide as well. But like to stop this, also the massive separations of families. So I'm just truly blessed by being a part of this community. So thank you every single one of y'all, and let's keep trying to get these victories and stop this oppressive system that's taking place at the moment. So thank you all for everything. Thank you.
Okay, since my team insists, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for this beautiful and award. When we heard the news that we were going to receive, the award, I was really jumping for joy, and I told Reverend Dev that I love Suru because they are our extended family. So I really mean it from the bottom of my heart, and the reason is because I remember when I was facing deportation. And I had reached out to Auntie June, and Auntie June had, called you guys up, and you guys had really, stepped forward and supported me in my pardon campaign. And because of that, I was able to get granted a pardon from the governor. And really want to say I really appreciate that, and really means a lot. And now that we're also like collaborating in fighting for more pardons for our community members, and collaborating with Sudo really means a lot as well. So we look forward to continue on this collaboration and other work as well. So just like we say that what is it? Your house is my house. Tu casa, mi casa. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for those incredible stories of true living solidarity. It was so moving to hear everyone speak, and congratulations to Interfaith on the award. And yeah, just many, many congratulations and much gratitude for the work that you're doing in the community. Thank you so much. Thank you to June also for presenting. We're going to move to our final award of the evening, and we're going to introduce the co-founder of Suru for Solidarity, Dr. Satsuki Ina, a Sansei activist, therapist, community healer, and memoirist, and she will be presenting the Lifetime Achievement Award. Please join me in welcoming Satsuki.
Ooh, this has been an incredible program. It's just wonderful to be here with you here. And it's a privilege for me to be the one who acknowledges the Lifetime Achievement Award that is being given to Chizu Omori. At 95, Chizu Omori put her vision of truth and justice in the hearts and hands of the Japanese American community through her conference, Changing Perspectives on the Japanese American Incarceration. Expanding the traditional narrative of the Japanese incarceration during World War II. This conference included protest and refusal of imprisoned incarcerees, and unveiled the government's will to silence Japanese Americans, and by implications, all groups of color. Throughout the conference, people, authors, writers, performers drew parallels between today's political climate and what happened during World War II. The conference thrived to tell truth, belie the model minority myth, and challenged attendees to stand up for democracy. The thread of healing as individuals and a community was woven throughout the conference. This is kind of the
representation of who Chizu is. She is a forward thinker. She's an inspiration. She organized this gathering in the perfect time of the crisis that our country is in today to speak the truth. And speaking the truth is part of the lesson that Chizu has encouraged us to follow and to be inspired by. It's so weird because you're all looking at the screen instead of at me, but that's okay. In many ways, this conference embodied Chizu's lifelong courage as a truth teller and activist. At age 12, Chizu and her family were in prison in Poston, Arizona. As a college student, she worked against McCarthyism and the Red Scare and fought for civil rights. She protested the Vietnam War and in 1979 began a 10-year commitment fighting for redress and reparations as a member of the National Council of Japanese American Redress. By 1988, Chizu and other plaintiffs heard their lawsuit presented at the Supreme Court, just as Congress was debating the redress bill. That the court might vote in favor of the lawsuit and was asking much more money for incarcerees was one of the arguments used to persuade Congress to vote for the Civil Liberties Act of 1988. Once passed, the Supreme Court dismissed NCJAR lawsuit, but nonetheless, this suit brought nationwide attention to the unjust mass incarceration of Japanese Americans. And if you talk to Chizu in an extended conversation, she'll tell you the excitement of American democracy in place as she sat in front of the Supreme Court as part of this protest and presentation. But Chizu didn't stop there. She became co-producer of a winning documentary film, Rabbit in the Moon, produced alongside the filmmaker, her sister, Emiko Omori, who's here documenting this award, this moment. She continued her crusade for justice, writing as a columnist for Japanese American and Asian American newspapers and speaking to countless classrooms and at community events. Chizu participated in early Tsuru for Solidarity protests against child separations and detention sites. She and Tsuru gained national attention when they protested to stop a proposed detention site at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Even COVID did not stop Chizu. She and Emiko were known to stand every week near a freeway in Oakland to protest Black Lives Matter and to support Black Lives Matter in her Oakland neighborhood. So I want to invite Chizu forward to receive your award. And my brother's supposed to come up now. Yeah, we rehearsed this for hours. He gets to do that because he just donated $1,000. And in her off time, Chizu loves hanafude. And so this is a small gift from the Japanese American Museum of Oregon. It's a hanafude card game with images from the World War II prison camps. Thank you, Chizu.
Well, this has been a terrific program. Everybody's been so eloquent and so full of passion that I don't know, feel like, gee, what can I say? Anyway, I think partly this award is just for sheer survival. You know, who else is around who's been through as much as I have, and just kind of my general life. And I really accept this honor in the name of many others who were in the trenches with me and worked so hard for our community and for a more accurate, honest retelling of our history as victims of American racism and our incarceration of some people for up to 6 years, many for at least 3. And just that history has been kind of sugar-coated in so many ways, but through the efforts of many, the honest truth has emerged. So, well, they told me you're going to get 3 minutes to speak, so I didn't prepare a really long address. I just want to say that we're living in dire times right now. So that, in a way, our history has come around again in that we're repeating many of the things that happened to us all over again, only on a vaster scale and a really dark and, hard to combat kind of experience. So having been a political activist most of my adult life, this is the fight of our lifetime, I'm beginning to think. So I'm going to continue to march and fight for as long as I can. Yeah. Okay. One last thing. In the spirit of the great John Lewis, a rights activist, congressman, and always a fighter for justice and equality, and in that pursuit, he coined a slogan to continue to make good trouble. So let's use that as our slogan. We have to continue to make good trouble as long as people are being treated the way they are right now.
So Keiko made this beautiful hoppy coat for Chizu. It has Chizu's name embroidered on it. And it has some sashiko around the tsuru crane, and also some barbed wire in sashiko. If you can see the back. It's beautiful, Keiko.
One last thing. Who knows how to play hana among you folks? Yeah, we should get together and have some hot card game. Yeah.
We love you, Chizu. It's so funny that she shouted out the passion of everyone else, considering she might be one of the most passionate people I've ever met. Deeply, infectiously inspiring. We love you, Chizu. Thank you for introducing her, Satsuki. We are now at the point where we are introducing our final performer, who was also our first performer, Aisha Fukushima. And then after her performance, it'll be Bryn and I will kind of take it to the end, but please enjoy Aisha again.
I've been missing you, missing you. Did you know that I still care? I've been trying to, learning to follow through. even when you're not there. Want you to know that it hurts sometimes. Want you to know that it's still alright. I've been missing you, missing you. Yes, it's true, incredible, so indelible. Wanna hold you close, will not let go. Centrifugal, centrifugal. Let us rise and never fall. No more burden, burden, burden. Let them talk and we will fly from this. From all this hurting, hurting, hurting. La 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 This is just to say that I'm missing you today, today. We will never fade away, never fade away, fade away. Let them talk and we will fly from this. From all this hurting, hurting, hurting. This is just to say that I'm missing you today, today. That I'm missing you today.
It was so beautiful. Thank you so much to Aisha. It was really an honor to open and close with your beautiful music, Aisha. Thank you. We're going to start to wind down and we're going to do another check on our fundraiser. So as we're pulling that up, just, one more call to go ahead and donate or share that donate link with your communities. We want to share some gratitude and thanks for everybody who made tonight possible. Thank you so much to Sudu's exceptional volunteers, their incomparable staff, and extraordinary fundraising committee, especially Casey Mukai, head of the committee, for all of your brilliance, kindness, and generosity. And Casey was so generous in letting us, do all of these pieces and tried to keep us on time. But I think we sort of beautifully went over, and it was so important and imperative to hear all these voices and make all this space. So Casey, you're amazing in orchestrating all of this and all of the parts. Thank you. Thank you again, and congratulations to all of the awardees tonight. Thank you to the performers, to the poets, and thank you to all of the donors and supporters. We're also very grateful to our partners in Seattle, especially La Resistencia, our 2024 Voices in Solidarity awardee and close and trusted ally, To all of our Bay Area partners, especially Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity, and to all of our grant funders for sustaining this work. Lastly, thank you to those of you who joined us this evening at the gatherings, the watch parties, and online. Thank you for sticking with us for this entire night. It's been so rich, so moving, so inspiring. So thank you for being here. So to close out, we're going to check to see how we're doing on our goals. Thank you to Hannah for pulling together all these fantastic graphics.
Here we go.
All right, we're getting a little closer to that 50,000. We're at 39,191 donations. So we are almost there, and I believe over the next few days we're going to make it, and we're going to make these campaign goals. So we're so grateful for all of you who donated, who responded to the challenges this evening. And again, you know, there's never a donation that's too small. It's really just a way of giving some of your energy and your spirit to the cause, to the movement, to Sudu. So thank you so much.
Yeah, so we're at 78%. And of course, tonight is just one wonderful night, but the event might be ending, but the night goes on. So if you're getting up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water, hop back on your phone, your computer, try to meet Stan Shikuma's $95 a month pledge. And please keep supporting Suru. Let your friends and family know about the work. Encourage them to donate. Again, suruforsolidarity.org. You'll find the donate button in the upper right corner. And then finally, for us, we want to thank you so much for inviting us to MC tonight's event. Even though we've reached the end, it will continue to be a great honor for both of us. And we look forward to seeing you all in person, hopefully soon. As we head into the night, let us hold in our minds and hearts those individuals and communities for whom we do this work and for whom this work is imperative, and also our elders and ancestors for whom this work is a tribute. Take very good care, everyone. Good night.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.